Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
Welcome to Duck Insider.
Man, it feels great to be a Duck.
Give it to me, baby. My house. I'm taking it there.
Their competitors, they'll want to put the O on.
Three, got it!
We're going to compete to a standard every day.
The Oregon standard.
Rebound. Has it in. 1 more to go.
The opportunity to play, put Oregon on your chest, should mean a great deal to you.
Unloads on one into left field, back toward the wall. Gone!
This program is staged to compete and to win championships.
Oregon wins!
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, let's talk Oregon athletics.
10 straight wins for Oregon baseball with a 9-1 victory over Portland last night. Congratulations to the Ducks. That matches the longest winning streak in the modern era of Oregon baseball. And I'm pretty positive it's the longest win streak in the history of the program. The record books are not as complete prior to the break in the program in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s. So I'm pretty positive that it's matching the longest winning streak in the history of the program. And it's a quicker turnaround for the Ducks again. Traveling Monday, beat Portland Tuesday night, practice today. Oregon State is in town to begin a 3-game rivalry series at PK Park, 7 o'clock on Thursday, 7 o'clock on Friday, 3 o'clock on Saturday. Ducks, Beavs, it's round 1. Round 1 of 5. The first 3 are at home, and they mean the most because they count in the Pac-12 standings. I said that this is the most critical stretch of Oregon's season coming into the year. Why? Arizona has been a tough place to play for the Ducks. Historically, Ducks are leading into this year. Oregon was 5-16 in Tucson. Ugh, not good. But they swept Arizona. Then they had to turn around and play a tough Portland team that is 7-2 in the West Coast Conference. They beat Portland 9-1. But with that quick turnaround with the Easter holiday on Sunday, it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Oregon State, always a huge, huge week. Then next week, it's 2 midweek games against a pretty good San Francisco team, and the Ducks play Stanford, who's a perennial top 10 team, a top 10 team this year, in a Pac-12 series at home. And it's the only back-to-back home-and-home weekend for the Ducks all year, at least in the conference season. That's why I thought this was the critical stretch. Those 9 conference games probably determine, in large part, where Oregon's going to be at the end of the year. The Ducks have played one of the toughest schedules in the country. They're number 12 in the RPI yesterday. This is the critical stretch, and they got it done with a big win over Portland. They started out early, too. Sabine Ceballos, he stayed hot after a really ridiculous weekend in the desert. Hit a home run early to make it 3-0, and that really could have been the end of the game with the way that Oregon performed. Riku Nishida was 2 for 5. Colby Shade scored a run, but he was 0 for 4. Drew Cowley was 1 for 2, but he scored 3 runs because he got walked 3 times. Sabine Ceballos, too, that one swing, he never really saw a strike after that. He also got walked 3 times. When your 3 and 4 hitters combine for 6 walks, it's a sign of respect. It's also a shout out to those guys for plate vision and plate discipline. Didn't come up trying to swing hard, just took what the pitchers gave them. The Ducks then also had Tanner Smith go 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs. As a result of that, Tanner Smith now has 137 career RBIs. He matches Gabe Matthews atop the career leaderboard for runs batted in. Congratulations to Tanner Smith. We're going to hear from him coming up. Also, Mark Wazkowski, a few other Ducks on the show. Rob Moseley's going to join us as well in just a little while. But for Tanner, that's a really cool accomplishment. Now, I have to tell a story. Tanner, I'm sorry. I saw Tanner this morning, and I don't think that anybody realized last night. We knew that he broke also the all-time at-bats record in an Oregon uniform. He now has the most at-bats of anybody in the history of Oregon baseball. Well, his 5th at-bat of the game was an RBI opportunity. He had the chance to break the career RBI record in this at-bat, where he also broke the career at-bats record. And I was like, oh, this is this is going to be great. Like, this is what you sign up for in the broadcast business. You've done the preparation. You know it's going to happen. And Tanner Smith struck out. And so I said to Tanner when I saw him at breakfast this morning, I was like, hey, did you know that you broke a record last night? He goes, at bats? And I said, yeah, do you know how you did it? He went, no. You did it with a strikeout, Tanner. And I said, but it's okay. Like, if you, as somebody who has rewritten the entire Oregon record book, he's first in like every category, going to be first in a few more after maybe this weekend. I was like, if you can't laugh a little bit about that, I got nothing for you. And Tanner chuckled, to his credit, which I appreciated. But, yeah, it was one of those things. Like, usually when you break a record, it's like, yeah! Well, this was like, yeah. I don't know. But either way, congratulations to Tanner Smith. Jacob Walsh had a hit. He kind of stayed hot, too. Bennett Thompson got a spot start. Josiah Cromwick and him have split time, but mostly it's been Cromwick's position. Hit a double down the left field line. Oregon had a crooked number in the first inning with a 3. They had a crooked number in the third inning with a 3. Added one more in the fourth. Insurance in the 7th. They won 9-1. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention how good Oregon's pitching was in this game. So I said pregame, coming into the broadcast, I said that passing the baton was going to be a key to this game. What I meant was Oregon may have to use a bunch of different pitchers and they need to execute well. They didn't. Jackson Pace went 3 1/3, gave up 3 hits and a run. It was a solo home run. He walked 2, struck out 1 in 15 batters faced through 51 pitches, but he left with the bases loaded. After a couple walks, I thought would maybe come back to hurt him. Well, Turner Spoljaric came in, got a line drive to the second baseman that resulted in a double play. Then Turner Spoljaric proceeded to go 3 2/3, allowing just 2 hits, no walks, no runs, and 1 strikeout. Dylan McShane went an inning, allowing a hit and no runs. Jacob Hughes went an inning, allowing no hits, no runs. Every pitcher had 1 strikeout. The entire staff combined for 2 walks, and only 4 pitchers had to get used on that Tuesday before a Thursday game. Quicker turnaround for the Beavs on Thursday with the Easter holiday. Worked out great, didn't it? Good win for the Ducks. They're 10th in a row. Big game against Oregon State coming up on Thursday. The record breaker, Tanner Smith. He met with the media post-game. We'll hear a little bit from him, and then Rob Moseley's going to join us and a few other Duck baseball players as we talk a lot of baseball today. Here's Tanner Smith afterwards.
Tanner, you've been scorching recently. 10-game hitting streak and 10-game winning streak. And you've now tied the program record in RBIs today. I guess, again, how does it feel to break or eventually break another record?
Awesome. Especially the RBIs, it just goes to the countless amount of names that scored the runs on the hits. When you're a part of an offense like this, it seems like every at-bat I have, somebody's on base, so it's pretty fun to hit.
Speaking of on base, you, Sabine, and Drew Cowley only combined for 4 outs today. Just nice. How great is that for have in the middle of your lineup? And you hitting 5th now with those 2 guys getting on base in front of you.
No, I think it's big, especially with how strong guys like Walsh and Bennett and the bottom half of the order. For how good of the hitters they are, if we're on base, it's likely we're going to score too. So, just seeing this offense kind of just hit its stride and start to really put things together, I think it's a really special feeling.
After that 7-1 loss to Washington State, you guys have been on fire, scoring 118 runs in the last 10 games.
Yeah.
Did you guys say something or have like a team meeting or anything to really light that fire after kind of a slow showing in that first game?
Yeah, definitely. I think that first Friday against Wazoo was just, before that I think we kind of had a tough stretch too. But after that Friday against Wazoo, we came together as a team collectively, staff included, and just kind of, just really broke down where we're at and well better how'd it and, got the ball rolling downhill.
That trip to Washington State, you guys came back, said you guys were closer as a team and all that. That was your first true road trip.
Yeah.
This past one to Arizona, you guys obviously sweep them. Do you feel like you're, again, better chemistry, better or closer together as a team?
Yeah, I think, especially only being able to travel with 27 guys, it just, that feeling of, so little against so many, it just, I think it just brings everybody a little bit closer together and puts everybody on one mission, and that's why we're doing well on the road.
Last year, Oregon State kind of had your guys' number, but this year with Oregon State not doing as well and you guys having a 10-game winning streak, is there a bit more confidence going into that series?
Yeah, I think so. I think these past 10 games we've really started to realize what we could do collectively as a team on both sides of the ball, and never going to downplay them because it's such a great program and always a good team, but I think it's going to be a competitive weekend, and I think we're gonna come out hot.
How important is this weekend to you, though? This is the last time you're going to be playing Oregon State at PK Park.
Yeah, it's playing the Beavers every year at PK is some of the most special games always. The fans, the environment, and just kind of that bad blood that's within that rivalry, and I'm always excited for Oregon State.
Specifically about them, just have you dived into any tape on them, or have you at least watched something on them?
Tomorrow?
Yeah,
tomorrow.
That's the day.
Yep. Maybe a little tonight, but tomorrow for sure.
Tanner Smith last night meeting with the media. So today the focus is on Oregon State before a 7 o'clock first pitch at PK Park on Thursday. I love the rivalry game. It is so much fun. And look, let's be honest. It didn't go Oregon's way last year. That's going to change. I hope. We'll see. PK Park, 7 o'clock tomorrow. When we come back, Rob Moseley, editor-in-chief, GoDucks.com. We've also got Mark Wasikowski, Turner's Bull Jarek, and we're going to talk a little softball. There he is. Back after this with the editor-in-chief of GoDucks.com on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
Medicaid and CHIP offer free or low-cost health coverage for children and teens. Hospital and doctor visits, prescriptions, shots, and more are covered. That's peace of mind for parents if a child is sick or gets injured. And parents may now be eligible for Medicaid too, even if they've applied in the past. Enrollment is always open. Visit insurekidsnow.gov or call 1-877-KIDS-NOW. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Here's a fun fact for you. The average chameleon can point their eyes in 2 different directions. On the other hand, the average human can't. So unless you're a chameleon, there's absolutely no way you can focus on texting and driving at the same time. So don't do it, unless you're a chameleon.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. Every Wednesday, Rob Moseley, the editor-in-chief, GoDucks.com, joins us. What's up, man?
How are you?
I am actually having a stellar Wednesday.
You sound like it. I can hear it in your voice.
Yeah, but I find that I always bring the energy for you. Like,
yeah,
you
do.
You've told me.
You do. I need it.
Yeah,
I need it.
Like, so I have to ask you something that you'll find pretty funny, I think.
Okay.
You remember I told you before?
I'll be the judge of that.
Yeah, that's right. You will. Do you remember I told you before how there was a coach who shall remain nameless for now that referred to Jim Radcliffe as the walking Oregon gear garage sale?
Yes.
You remember that?
Yes.
Do you have, and the reason I asked this, Sophie's directing the show today.
Mm-hmm.
Sophie walked in just casually one day with like an awesome gang green sweatshirt.
These kids these days, I don't know
Dude,
where they're getting this gear.
I don't know. Where'd you get that one? Her mom got it for her. Okay, well.
Like secondhand or like it was in her closet?
Literally no idea. No, not in her closet.
Not in her closet. So my question is, what's the oldest piece of Oregon gear that one Robert Moseley still has in his possession?
That's a good question. I have an Oregon wrestling pullover.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's probably it. Like I definitely had some Rose Bowl gear from the 94 game.
Yeah.
Which I attended as a freshman.
Nice.
Whew, that hurts. But I don't think I have it anymore.
But would it still fit?
Oh God, no. I was 17 when I got to. I was a late bloomer anyway, and I was 17 when I got to campus. I want to say I was like one. At my height, I was almost 6'2". I never quite hit 6'2", but I think I was like 6'2", 1.
Wait, have you shrunk?
Well, yeah, dude.
Oh.
The cartilage in your back compresses.
Okay.
Yeah. Man.
I
Just
didn't
blow your
think-
mind? Yeah, you're going to get shorter, bro.
But not at your age.
Well, I do a lot of running, too. I mean, the honest truth is, when's the last time anyone in here checked how tall they were?
Yeah, I don't know.
I couldn't. It's probably been 25 years. So maybe I still am 6'1" and 7/8". I think that's the tallest I was ever measured at.
All right. Good.
Anyway, I think so. I was 6'1" and 7/8", like probably 165.
Okay.
So I was a string bean.
Well, you're 150 now, obviously.
Right. Yeah, clearly. So yeah, nothing would fit.
So it's the wrestling pullover.
Wrestling pullover
That's
for
the
sure.
oldest one.
Yeah. Probably, yeah. That might be the only thing I have that I didn't own before I started working here, honestly, because
really?
I was at the Guard for long enough
Right.
that it was like, well, I'm not an Oregon fan. And
then-
the wrestling thing was just so unique that I was like, well, I gotta hold on to this. But I would only wear it like on a camping trip or something where like no one would see me.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it would be
and
like,
when you were at the Emerald, you weren't wearing like Oregon gear to
Right.
games, right? Yeah.
Right. So
Makes
yeah.
sense. But now the closet has expanded.
Yeah. It's funny. I remember when I started working here, and everybody had all kinds of stuff,
Right.
and it's like, well, when am I going to get all this stuff? And you just sort of expect that like a large box is going to appear.
It never happens.
And I remember Jeff Stewart from the ticket office was like, just give it some time.
He told me the same thing.
Yeah. Stuff will just sort of appear.
It appears on your desk.
Yeah.
That is so funny.
Yeah.
Stu told me the exact same thing.
Just be patient. And sure enough, now my closet's like, oh yeah, that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that. Oh, haven't worn that in 2 years.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. I was wondering if maybe you had like the same gangrene sweatshirt that Sophie.
No, I'm super jealous. Like when I see stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's vintage stores around town that sell that stuff, right? Yeah.
They've got good stuff.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm sure it's expensive.
The Rose Bowl, I think you and I would agree, one of the best things that you and I both own is the throwback looking Rose Bowl crew neck sweater.
Yeah, from 19. Yeah.
That thing is unbelievable.
Yeah, I got the pregame one and the postgame one.
I only got postgame. I didn't want to jinx it.
Oh, well played.
So it worked out for you though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got light gray and dark gray.
Yeah.
He's Rob Moseley, editor-in-chief of GoDucks.com. Spring football. We're back at it.
We are.
What'd you see yesterday? Anything exciting?
Yeah, it was. It was fun to see him in pads. It was just so weird because it kind of felt like a first practice in a lot of ways.
It was weird.
And then they're in pads, and it's like it felt like a normal practice in some ways too. So it's it was a long day. That feels like a long time ago with the baseball game. Yeah. Like that. And so you mentioned right off the top, you're very chipper. Like I'm tired today.
I am too. It's an act.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Love it.
It's all for you, Rob.
Fake it. Okay, I love it.
Thanks. I'm glad
I'll try to get on your level. Yeah.
Get that. Get the Diet Mountain Dew in while you can.
Yeah, it was. It's never not fun to be out there. It's again some more new faces. So, I processed the first batch of new guys pretty quick. I think.
Yeah.
Clearly, because I wasn't. As long as it was a guy who was here for the first couple, my head wasn't spinning, and then it was only like another handful of guys to wrap your head around. So, yeah, it was good. I mean. Now it's just that slow, steady progression toward the spring game. It's fun, kind of the pressure's off, but it's like when you're looking for like narrative and story and stuff, it's like, well,
there's going to be a practice report and a Quack Minute every day, and if you have any ideas, our inboxes are open.
It's just practicing.
Yep.
Still practicing.
Yeah. Tosh Lupoy is going to meet with the media tomorrow.
Yep.
Though we get to ask him about the defense.
Yeah, and Dan Lanning obviously very excited about the numbers, just the depth he has, all across the defense, and so yeah, to hear Tosh's thoughts on that and kind of where he sees his strengths. Obviously some of the transfers, just physically, the profile they all cut is pretty impressive. So if they can, we're gonna look good getting off the bus,
right?
So if they can perform up to that level, that'll be pretty fun. It just to a guy like Tosh Lupoy, it just feels like kind of more presents under the tree on Christmas Day. And,
no doubt.
So that's I'm sure it's been really fun for those guys too. Obviously, if you're a coach, you're also looking for, as Dan Lanning said too yesterday, you're looking for weaknesses, not strengths, because you need to clean up your weaknesses. Yeah. And I'm sure they're seeing plenty of that on film. But
I really liked him talking yesterday about the film, where he was like, everybody looks at the highlights first. Well, we want to look at the lowlights. That's what they want to spend Wednesday on heading into Thursday.
And that's like verbatim from like the huddle right after practice. So like, if you're a fan, watch these things, because Dan Lanning's going to take you inside the huddle. Anytime he says we just talked about that,
he means it.
He literally,
he means it.
Yeah, he's taking you inside the huddle with what his message was. Basically yesterday it was about not just this is a time of year when you see a lot of opportunities, but he had this great play on words, and as a word nerd, I loved it. It was don't just see the opportunity, seize the opportunity. There's a massive difference between seeing an opportunity and seizing an opportunity. So don't be somebody that just sort of sees an opening and sort of takes for granted that maybe a job will be there for you, that you're going to slide right into a spot. Be the guy who seizes that opportunity. And
this feels
he didn't use those exact words when he was talking to the media, but he's not afraid to kind of share publicly what he's telling the guys and help reiterate his message that way.
That's really interesting you say that, because you and I are around the end of practice, and like I've heard the same thing twice, but I've never like associated them right after each other like you just did. That's interesting. Like, it's so true. Like, it doesn't change much.
Yep.
Also, that's got to be a lead to a story one of these days, right? See opportunity, seize opportunity.
Yeah.
Byline, Rob Moseley.
Put it in my back pocket. Well, I can't claim.
But you can quote him, right? And then there's your touche. I would read that story.
Yeah.
It's a hook.
Yep.
Right, as they say.
Yep.
Well, so spring football practice continues. Baseball, this is a big week.
Yeah.
Nice win last night. 10 in a row, matches the program record in the modern era, but I'm pretty positive it's the program record all time. This is a big week. Huge week against the Beavs. Always fun when the Ducks and Beavs get together.
Yeah, I think for those of us who've watched the college baseball scene around here for a long time, you have to just acknowledge that Oregon State's tradition is impressive. And, they're kind of the kings until somebody else knocks them off the throne. Mm-hmm. And you're also kind of eyeballing, looking toward the future, like, hey, is there a chance that we, our program could maybe take over that role? And, the opportunity could be here,
we see the opportunity.
And are they going to seize it? Yeah. I see what you did there. Yeah. Because obviously it's become a very competitive. It hasn't been one-sided by any means. But if you could have a one-sided performance to the good this weekend, what a statement that would be, and both kind of about the state of that rivalry, but also about where this season could potentially go. I think you look at the progress these freshman pitchers are making, and sure, we all hoped it would have clicked a little bit quicker for some of those guys. But the best way to learn, the most effective way to learn, often is the hard way.
Yeah.
To go through some tough experiences, have to stomach that and let that kind of fuel your fire. So, if that's happening and we see more of that over these next few weeks, how encouraging that'll be.
Yeah. I'm excited to see the offense continue to do what they've been doing. Because you talk about you'd like the pitchers maybe to click a little earlier. The offense didn't click all that well early on.
Yeah, totally.
Now they've got it going.
9 runs yesterday was the third fewest during this 10-game winning streak.
Isn't that wild?
Bananas.
Yeah. And I said this yesterday, and I'm going to say it to you because you'll understand what I'm talking about. I watched Oregon lose a game where Arizona scored 28 runs in that ballpark. Man, it
down
was,
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, it was great.
That was always the narrative down there. As you go down there, and it's it's going to be high scoring and crazy things happen, and because it's like a dirt infield, right? Or
so
it's like a hard packed
It's
infield.
a hard packed. It's a lot of dirt. The gaps are funky. Center
Yeah.
field is more shallow than the gaps. Yeah.
And so, kind of to do to them what had been done to Oregon a few times, it felt like, where no lead is safe.
Yeah.
Was pretty impressive to watch just from afar. So, yeah, I'm looking. I haven't been around them that much.
Good group.
For as much as they played at home early. Just there was other stuff going on. Basketball was continuing to play and all that. But so yeah, I'm excited to be out there. Now, if yesterday was a long day, tomorrow's gonna be rough, bro.
Yeah, dude. Spring football practice, 7:00 first pitch. You and I will be highly caffeinated. It's fine.
Yeah, but if I caffeinate for the sake of the game, then it's going to keep me up late at night.
Yeah.
Although I don't have much to do Friday until baseball, so.
I sacrifice the sleep for the caffeinated broadcast.
Yeah. No, you got to bring it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can be tired and grumpy and still do my job.
It doesn't come through in the
You
keyboard.
can't do that.
Sure. I bet
It
your
might.
writing changes.
It might.
Don't you think? Like if you're not like chipper, your writing's probably not as chipper.
No doubt, but it's not going to be as apparent. As obviously apparent as.
Well, I don't know if you heard it all on Saturday during the 10-run comeback. My voice completely gave out by the time it was over.
There's a lot of runs to call.
A lot of runs to call, but also desert air for whatever reason. I don't know what
dry.
it is.
Yeah.
I struggle. Vegas.
Oh no,
Arizona.
believe me. Yeah, after the conference basketball tournaments, I was chapped.
Yeah, when Sabine Ceballos gave the Ducks the lead, I was just like, I don't have anything left. And it happens.
Yep.
So we almost had to go to the reliever on the broadcast.
Sometimes you just let the moment speak for itself or something.
That's good on TV.
Right.
It's harder on the radio.
Yeah.
But, I tried.
Yeah.
He's
push
Moseley.
through.
You do. You do. You persevere, and this is a very first world problem. Very first world problem for me. I wanted to ask you a little bit about softball, Rob.
Sure. Yeah.
I felt like start of the weekend for Oregon State, and talking with Coach Lombardi about this yesterday, went well. Then things slowed down, kind of continued over into Monday, and then they punched through and get a run rule win on Monday.
Yeah.
It was a true ebb and flow of a weekend for Duck softball.
Yeah, I didn't watch the last games. I was tuned in, I think, Saturday, but I wasn't on Sunday.
Saturday was wild,
Again,
too.
it feels
Doubleheader.
like a long time ago. There's just a lot going on.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I just think that's where they're at still, just seeking consistency. They know when they play at a high level, they can play with anyone. They proved that against Washington and Stanford and UCLA. But they also proved in those same series that it just doesn't just happen every time out. They really have to make it happen. So, yeah, kind of like the freshman pitchers in baseball. It's like if you just need things to click before you get kind of into that stretch run, and then hopefully for the postseason. So you obviously don't want to let it linger too long, and you want to position yourself as well as possible to hopefully try to host in the postseason or something like that. But there's still time, but there's a sense of urgency as well that you just gotta bring it every time out, and can't just expect that it's gonna happen.
We'll talk a little bit more softball coming up. The Ducks playing 2 against Lindenwood on Thursday and Friday in the Pac-12 bye week. So what are you doing this weekend? What's going to be on GoDucks.com? What do fans have?
I'll be at baseball, and I'll be at football Thursday and Saturday. Sunday, I got to do a long run. Half marathon's coming up in like 3 weeks.
So you're going to do a long run on Easter Sunday instead of brunch.
Yeah.
Man, good for you.
Yeah.
I am not doing that.
No, you're going to brunch?
Yeah.
I'm not a particularly religious person. So I'm excited about the Bristol dirt race in NASCAR.
That and Masters Sunday.
Yeah. Not a big golf guy.
But the Masters.
Yeah. Hey, if unfortunately Aaron's not playing. If Aaron was playing in the mix,
all right.
I'd watch.
Fine.
Once Owen gets there, hopefully I'll be watching, rooting for our guys. I'm kind of that way with the NBA. Like if our guys are involved, cool. Otherwise, something's got to give.
Yeah, I understand.
Sometimes,
But for me, it's going to be a nice day of brunch. I like to cook, as you
I say
know,
that though.
so.
If Tiger's involved, I'm sure I'll watch.
Yeah,
I'm that a total cliche person who's like,
that's
wait,
fine.
Tiger's involved. For some reason, that's fun.
It's fine. It's going to be great.
Yep.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
Yeah. For those who celebrate.
Is Rob Moseley, the editor-in-chief of GoDucks.com. And we'll see you at the practice fields.
Yep. And then the ball yard.
Yep.
Then the ball yard.
No, practice fields, then ball yard.
And then the practice fields.
Yeah.
And then the ball yard. I was just going through the whole weekend.
Yeah, that's it right there. You and I will actually – this is rare, actually. You and I will be in all the same places.
Yeah.
Normally we're kind of split up depending on what's going on.
Yeah. Well, when it's a rivalry series in baseball.
No doubt.
No better place to be, right?
That's 1,000% right.
Yeah.
I hope it's a packed crowd. I hope that there's a lot of green and yellow, too. I know there's going to be some orange and black, but I hope there's a lot of green and yellow. Should be fun.
I think it kind of like women's basketball in recent years. You used to feel almost like it was Corvallis South when the game was here, but that's changed.
Yeah.
So
keep changing.
Hopefully that trend continues. Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
Yep.
Rob Moseley, the editor-in-chief of GoDucks.com. He's got a Diet Mountain Dew to go. When we come back, Mark Wasikowski, some of his thoughts from the victory last night. Also heading into a rivalry matchup. Beavs are in town tomorrow. Keep it here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimate CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, our all-inclusive event pricing allows us to take care of all of the details while you enjoy your event. Our wedding garden, expansive grounds, ballroom, and meeting rooms can accommodate any size event and come complete with full catering and service staff. From weddings to business and social events, Shadow Hills offers the benefits of a resort atmosphere and the peace of a country setting just minutes from downtown Eugene. For more details, call us today or go to shadowhillsevents.com.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimate CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
You're listening to Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Guys, it's me, Isabella Gomez, filling in for Smokey Bear because he's got more to say than just...
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Like, if you're outside enjoying a barbecue, don't let a hamburger distract you from fire safety. Make sure you aren't dumping your hot coals or ashes onto the ground because that could start a wildfire. So take wildfire prevention seriously and let's save the world one day at a time. Juntos con Smokey Bear, podemos hacerlo. Go to smokeybear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
We are back inside the Country Financial Studio for Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. A 9-1 win for Duck baseball over Portland last night. When Mark Wasikowski took the job, he said that one of his primary focuses was to win the state. He wasn't just talking about Oregon State. He was talking about winning against Portland. Wants to be the best team in the state of Oregon. Well, the Ducks are on their way to doing that with the victory against Portland last night. And now with the Beavers on the horizon, I think Mark Wasikowski was happy with the performance and still some things that the Ducks can work on before Thursday's rivalry game against the Beavs. Mark Wasikowski brought to you by the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Fight like a duck with exceptional cancer care close to home. Every head coach interview thanks to WVCI. Here's Waz last night.
Waz, the win today makes it 10 straight. Just what did you see from your guys today and how they brought their energy from Arizona?
Played a complete game, saw good pitching, good defense, and the hitting was good from the start. You know, Ceballos getting us on the board early was huge. And then just the constant flow. Bennett Thompson had a really nice hit with two out RBI hit down the third base line. I thought that was great, and it was just a sustained offense. I thought it was a well-played game.
With big weekend coming up, just the value of maintaining momentum in a game like this to try to continue it rolling into the weekend.
Yeah, every game or every weekend's a big weekend. You know, when you play at Oregon, that's the way it is. You know, every weekend's big. And so whether you're playing Oregon State like we will this weekend or you're playing anybody else, I mean, they're all big, and last weekend was a big weekend. Today was a big game. That's a big game for us. Portland's in our state. You know, being the best team in the state's a deal for us. So, you know, that's something that we have to earn and prove.
What'd you think of Turner coming out of the bullpen and throwing 3 2/3 scoreless?
Unbelievable. He was fantastic. That's why he pitched for Team Canada. That's what he showed on Team Canada when he was with them, and he showed it for the first time in a Duck uniform in front of fans and stuff like that tonight. I was really happy for the kid. I thought he threw great. I thought all of our pitchers really competed and threw the ball very well.
Jackson Pace is a guy who struggled recently. Things got a little bit hairy in the 4th inning, but he still gave you solid 3 innings there. Just what do you see from him overall?
I thought Jackson gave us a really good start. For Jackson to do what he did and hand the ball over to Turner, was fantastic. I thought McShane was fantastic, and then Hughes at the end of the game, I thought might have even been the best out of all of them. I mean, it was a short stint. It was only a 1-inning deal, but he and McShane were outstanding. Credit Coach Angier, to get those guys going. I mean, that's a bunch of freshmen and guys that haven't pitched and done a whole lot of innings, and for them to go out there and look like they were juniors, that's hard to do, and credit to Coach Angier. He got those guys pitching and pitching well tonight.
How important was it for Hughes to get off to a couple strikes? He's a guy who struggled with command last year and this year. Just goes out there and starts firing strikes. How important was that?
It just looked like intent with me. He got out there tonight, and I mean, he was on it from the first pitch. Really competitive, unbelievable kid, and a real worker. And so all the good things that are happening to that kid tonight from tonight's ball game, I mean, he's earned and he's deserved, and he went for it tonight. I was happy for him.
Seems like Cowley has settled in as the everyday shortstop. What'd you see from his defense out there?
He's just playing consistent. He's doing what he does. He's kind of an old guy out there, and he's a stable force. And I think with all those guys on the infield are kind of old, even though Jacob's only a sophomore. I mean, he doesn't play very young. He plays pretty old, and he's really good around the bag. I think he dug one out of the dirt again today, and he's just really fluid around the bag. Made several plays, with balls hit at him as well. So I don't know, that infield's played really well, and Bennett Thompson tonight, I mean, catching the way he did, I thought was fantastic.
Your middle of the order, you have Ceballos and Cowley who combined for just 2 outs all game, 6 walks. Tanner gets 2 RBIs today. Just what did you see from them, and how much does that affect, or how much does that help your lineup when those guys are clicking?
Well, I mean, you're talking about Tanner Smith. I mean, he's got a hit record here in the program. He's an unbelievable competitor. Ceballos is an unbelievable competitor. I mean, all these guys are unbelievable competitors, It just energizes me every day to be able to be a part of what they're doing, all that kind of stuff. I mean, all the way down to weights in the morning and all the way through the day. I mean, just to have an opportunity to coach those guys and help them when they do something that isn't quite right, and help them when they are struggling, or just be a part of the ride like we are right now when those guys are playing as well as they are. It's a lot of fun.
How nice is it to have Bennett Thompson, just
Stud.
in general?
Southern Oregon, rock. I mean, just comes from a family of toughness and just great people, and Bennett's a rock star. He goes back there and he catches, and nothing gets by him, and the guy's blocking balls, and don't think that just the pitchers, did it without help. And Bennett was helping them, really receiving the ball well tonight and building them up with confidence. I thought he caught very, very well.
Riku had a couple of plays today, just normal ones, normal fly ball, but he did cut off a single. I think that was in that 4th inning.
Yeah, great play.
And overall on the weekend, he made some ranging plays, showed some range on a fly ball there. Just what have you seen from him, and how important is it to have, or how impressive is it for Riku to be able to play in right field, is not normal position, pretty well?
He played shortstop at Cape Cod Lake. The kid can play anywhere. He's a competitor. He's really fast in the outfield. It's really neat for him, I'm sure, to play tonight. His dad's in town, flew in from Japan. I got to meet him today. That's probably a real special moment for Riku, and you'll get a chance to see him play through the weekend. And Riku's an awesome kid. He's a clubhouse favorite. That's probably the greatest thing that's going on right now with the club that I get to coach, is they're just having a ton of fun off the field and in the clubhouse, and the togetherness in the weight room and just everywhere. It's just fun.
Going off of that togetherness, a couple weeks ago when you guys traveled to Washington State, you came back and said that the team was a lot more close. They had better chemistry.
Yeah.
This weekend trip to Arizona, do you feel that even now they're even more closer after that trip as well?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Martyr had a lot to do with some of the things that went on away from the ball field, but then, the leaders, the Grant Smiths, Ceballoses, those kind of guys, amongst others, had a lot to do with uniting that locker room and saying, no, we're going to play for each other. We're not going to play for ourselves, and we're going to do things right. We're going to do things right all the time. Sometimes it's going to hurt because we got to hold each other accountable, but we're going to do it because that's the right way to do it. And they're the ones that are doing it. Coach Martyr did a tremendous job of kind of just bringing everybody together, and then there were some other things that went on too that helped the ball club, which is good.
To flip it over to the Oregon State side of it, since this is our media availability for the week, just they haven't necessarily gotten off to the start that Oregon State programs have gotten off to in years past. But what have you seen from them on tape, and just what are their strengths this year?
Oh, I don't know. They've done a nice job. I don't know much about their start and all that kind of stuff. I don't concern myself with that. We're just trying to put our team forward and really just trying to just take one day at a time with our ball club and prepare them. Tomorrow's a great practice day. There'll be some things that we need to work on and try to tighten up for the weekend, and just looking forward to competing again this weekend.
Diodati's gotten a couple starts after hitting the ball a little better in the Arizona series. Obviously still struggled overall. Just what have you seen from him at the plate?
Yeah, just kind of up and down. It's a belief issue. He's got all the talent in the world. I was really happy for Jackson Jaha to get in there, and he gets an at-bat and he smokes one to right field. Good for him. It looks like he's kind of takes a little bit after his dad, probably. His dad could really hit, and that kid can really hit. And so Jackson's probably going to get more opportunities to hit as well. Don't be surprised about that. He's a great kid. He's a real competitor, and that's what you want in your locker room. That's what made Smith as successful as he's been to get the hit record in the program. He's a competitor, and Jaha kind of follows in that same mode. So I like him a lot. He's a good kid.
Probably mix in Hellman into that mix too with Diodati and Jaha.
Drew Smith, I don't know, Garati. There's a lot of good freshmen hanging around here right now, yeah.
Bazzana and Forrest are still kind of anchored down that Oregon State lineup. Just how important was it that you guys saw them last season, especially Bazzana, and just what have you seen from them on tape?
We've seen a lot from them on tape.
Fair. Have you guys? I'm going to ask my normal question. Have you guys figured out a rotation yet for this weekend?
No, we haven't even talked about rotations and stuff like that for the weekend.
Is there maybe just a possibility of earning one of those spots, especially after how he performed on this past weekend?
Oh, I don't even know. I'd have to talk with Coach Angier. I let him set the pitching, and I just listen.
Mark Wasikowski, today is the focus on Oregon State. Look, this is a rivalry game. They see stuff from them on film. We're back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country.
We're here.
Whoa, that was fast.
There's a forest closer than you think. Find a park or forest near you and music inspired by nature at discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by USDA Forest Service and the Ad Council.
You're not too cool for me. And in return, I reciprocate that sentiment. I'll never be too cool for you. I was a man with a plan, but now I'm a dad with a decree, and you can't take that from me. Please let it be noted that I told my job they can dock my pay. Right now, it's just too important to take you to school every day. I want to be legendary for you. I want you to puff out your chest when you go to school, the same way I do. I walk taller because of you, because I found everything to live for.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
We are back on Doug Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. Oregon getting ready for the Beavs. And I'll tell you, Turner Spoljaric came in last night in a huge spot, got out of a bases-loaded jam, and I thought after Oregon's offense set the tone early against Portland, the pitching staff maintained that just swagger about the Duck team. And when you come in and you get a double play to get out of a bases-loaded jam, I think you feel pretty good about it. And Turner Spoljaric, he may have earned himself some more innings for the Ducks now moving forward, and there's no doubt about it that the Ducks are going to need some important innings here over the next few weeks from guys further down the list on the pitching chart because they're just playing more games this week with a bit of an odd schedule. Turner Spoljaric, he met with the media yesterday talking about his 3 2/3 of no-run baseball against the Pilots.
Turner, your first game action in a little while. How'd you feel like you pitched today?
I thought I pitched well. I just was trying to go out there and attack the zone and kind of let my defense work, which I thought they did a really good job of. There's some good plays in the middle infield. Shade picked me up on a pretty well-hit baseball. I was happy about it.
Well, I was really encouraged. I mean, anything you felt like you did different, better, anything like that?
I would just say mentality-wise, I was just going out there and trying to pitch to contact, let my defense work, like I said, and just trust the guys on the field. I thought that was what my plan was, and I thought I did a good job of executing it.
That feel just like because some maturity, kind of.
Yeah, just getting a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. I think so for sure.
Looked like your curveball was pretty sharp. Was that a pitch you felt like was working today?
Yeah, I mean, I threw a couple that I got let get away from me, but I thought it was working pretty well today. I felt pretty good with it. In the last couple of weeks, I've been just trying to focus on staying on top of it and really snapping it off. So I've been feeling good with it for sure. We haven't seen you since the middle of March. What have you been working on? I've been working on everything, just trying to throw with a little more intent, work on being in the zone more, attacking hitters, and just showing them that I can pitch and that just if they put me out there, I'll let the defense work and I'll pitch to contact.
Is that what you consider today to be as good as you can go? Or maybe not as good as you can go.
No, but I think today was a good step in the right direction for sure. I think I showed some progress for sure. I think I did some things that I've been trying to work on really well, which I'm super happy about. But it was, again, just relying on the team and kind of letting the defense work was all I was focusing on, and they did a great job of that.
How fine a line is that? Obviously you just don't want to throw fat ones down the middle.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, for me, I'm not that opposed to it. If I get hit, I'd rather get hit than walk somebody. That's my personal opinion. I'm not trying to, if I have to go out there and I'd rather get hit than walk guys. So I would rather err on the side of getting hit, to be honest.
Obviously, your dad was a pitcher. Is he someone you've worked with on?
Yeah, for sure. He's been my pitching coach and someone I've talked to for the last 19 years now. And I'm fortunate to have Angier here, but he's for sure been a huge help. He's taught me most of the stuff I've known. Now I get to rely on Angier, which is great. Coach Angier is doing a great job.
Yeah, Jackson has been a guy who's struggled recently. Just how nice was it? I know you came in for him because he was struggling, but how nice was it to see him have a good start to today?
It was awesome. I'm super happy for him. It was good just to see him go out there and attack guys, kind of pound the zone and just get after it and rely on his defense as well. And I think that he's I don't think you have to worry about him. He's got it. He's a good pitcher. He's just got to get out of his own way, and he's been doing a good job of that.
Do you freshman pitchers kind of help each other with that when one of you might have a tough outing?
For sure, everybody does. All the pitchers get along. We all get together and we'll talk about the mental side, physical, whatever it may be that's hindering your ability to pitch. But if somebody has a bad outing, we'll talk about it and pick them up for sure.
Turner Spoljaric. I thought that was awesome, just hearing about the camaraderie and the pitching staff even, bad days in baseball are going to happen. That's why winning 10 straight in baseball is so impressive, What the Ducks have put together over the last few weeks is really impressive. Let's hope it continues. Going for their 11th straight win against the Beavs. 7 o'clock. It will be a 6:45 pregame show on Thursday. Ducks, Beavs coming up. We're going to get a timeout. When we come back, Oregon softball. The Ducks coming off that Montana win, getting ready for Lindenwood tomorrow. Got a couple more interviews for you from postgame after they took down Montana. That's coming up. Stick with us. It's Duck Insider presented by On Point Community Credit Union on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, our all-inclusive event pricing allows us to take care of all of the details while you enjoy your event. Our wedding garden, expansive grounds, ballroom, and meeting rooms can accommodate any size event and come complete with full catering and service staff. From weddings to business and social events, Shadow Hills offers the benefits of a resort atmosphere and the peace of a country setting just minutes from downtown Eugene. For more details, call us today or go to shadowhillsevents.com.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
More Duck Insider coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
I've been driving trucks for a long time, and safety is my #1 priority. I know that my truck has huge blind spots. That's why I remember to check my mirrors often for smaller vehicles. Everyone can help keep our roads safe. Next time you're behind the wheel, try to avoid lingering in those blind spots. It can be dangerous. Let's all plan to share the road safely. Learn how at www.sharetheroadsafely.gov.
I found hope in the midst of an overwhelming situation.
Alcoholism is a disease that can affect any family. Everyone suffers, but there is help and hope at Al-Anon Family Groups.
Al-Anon gave me my life back. I'm a better father and husband.
Are you in an overwhelming situation because of someone else's drinking? Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Local and virtual meetings are available. Maybe one could work for you. Call 1-866-200-0033 or visit alanon.org/hope.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio, Duck Insider presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Your Cafe Yum 2-minute drill. Oregon women's golf. Freshman Anika Varma broke 70 for the first time in her collegiate career on Tuesday to lead Oregon women's golf in the second round of the Silverado Showdown at Silverado Resort and Spa. Ducks are chipping away. They're going to be back in action today. They're already going today. We'll have more updates for you on the show tomorrow. And Oregon men's golf had better leave room in the trophy case because they had another Pac-12 Golfer of the Week. Nate Stember became the second Duck this season to be named the Pac-12 Golfer of the Week after sharing medalist honors at the Duck Invitational last week. He joins another Duck, the second Duck who has won the award this year, and Owen Averitt. Congratulations to Nate Stember. That's pretty cool. Your Cafe Yum 2-minute drill, where special diet requests and custom orders are always welcome. Menus and nutrition info at cafeyum.com. For Oregon softball this past weekend, Kylie Shar made her first start in a couple of games this weekend. Coach Lombardi said that her ability to chop the ball, use her speed, really impacts the game for the Ducks moving forward. Well, I wanted to let you listen to what she had to say after the game against Montana that the Ducks won before they play a couple non-conference games beginning on Thursday at 6 o'clock. Kylie Shar.
Obviously, speed's a factor there in that last inning. Can you talk about just trying to make that an impact part of your team's game and trying to provide some of that?
I mean, everyone on our team is super fast, but we could all beat out, like, anything practically. We could hit it right to people and beat it out, so I don't know, I just think it's just a part of our game.
When you're in a situation, we've talked a lot the last couple weeks about situational hitting and taking advantage of opportunities. How much do you feel like speed can just create that extra edge there that you might need between, safe or out, it's, taking an extra base, things like that, so that you guys can kind of get off the schneid as a group and take better advantage of opportunities?
Yeah, it puts a lot of pressure on the defense. Like, our speed, there can be like a routine play and people make mistakes, and they could have an opportunity to get us out, but there's too much pressure, so they don't rise to the occasion.
It's been like for you the last couple of days, just in terms of haven't been a starter before, hadn't got the volume of opportunities you've got in the last couple of games, and you've certainly taken advantage of it. What's it been like just prepare from a starting capacity compared to coming off the bench as a pinch runner usually?
Yeah, so in the beginning of this year, I fractured my hand, so I kind of have just been like getting back into it. But I feel like I always just have that mentality, like stay ready and just give it my best. That's all I can do. So.
And that's why the mid, for the most part, the hand.
Yeah, yeah.
You have been injured, maybe not performing on the field, lighting up the stats. Mm-hmm. But I've seen you in practice. I remember specifically one of the drills, you went 60-foot sprints for like 15 minutes straight. I mean, you're giving your all every day. Could you just talk about how you keep that mindset when you're not actually performing on the games, but you're contributing to behind the scenes, making your team better?
I just think like during practice we have to give it our all because that's how we're going to play in the game. So if we're pushing each other during practice and like competing during practice, it's just going to make our team that much better. So.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
Top priorities as a group. What do you guys want to get out of this week? All these games. While you're out of league play. What are the things Coach is talking about wanting to see?
I think we just want to keep preparing and getting better for Pac and postseason and keep our same postseason mentality throughout all of our games. And we play a faceless opponent every time. So
it's one thing to say that, like a game like today, do you feel like you did that? Did you bring it right from the start? Was it a challenge to try to replicate that mentality in a game like this?
I don't think so. I think we all know, like, we're playing our game all the time. We do all of it, like, we play for us. So I feel like it's pretty easy, and we always remind each other, like, we're playing for us, we're here. Like,
when you're making a run, you know you have speed. You know you're very fast. I mean, you recognize that. Do you ever think that maybe sometimes you think you put yourself in positions, like, you knock the ball away from that? Me personally, you made that totally fine to second base, but looking out, is that maybe too aggressive? I know the team's philosophy is to be aggressive on the base paths. How do you reconcile those two, being too aggressive or being the right amount of aggressive?
I feel like I'm always super aggressive, so until I get, like, proven that I need to hold back, I think that's when I'll start to hold back a little bit. But I feel like people just don't expect some of the things that we do, and it makes it, like, very successful on the base paths.
Pretty cool to hear her talking about a number of different things. I thought that's Kai Lushar, who is now a starter. We'll see if she's going to continue to be a starter for the Ducks the rest of the way. Either way, adds a lot of depth for Oregon softball, which you love to see that. Tomorrow, softball and baseball game day. What's on the show tomorrow? Well, spring football practice interviews from the morning. Sabine Ceballos and Logan Mercado talking about the baseball series coming up against Oregon State. And also a surprise for you. Talking a little bit of Oregon pit crew. Going to be fun. See you tomorrow on the show.
Medicaid and CHIP offer free or low-cost health coverage for children and teens. Hospital and doctor visits, prescriptions, shots, and more are covered. That's peace of mind for parents if a child is sick or gets injured. And parents may now be eligible for Medicaid too, even if they've applied in the past. Enrollment is always open. Visit insurekidsnow.gov.